We usually have a bit of a laugh at US President Joe Biden's expense, and here's why.
A vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now.
We'll go down on this. We'll go down here on this.
Heard from for Secretary Vilsack. Senator, excuse me, I voted you. All kidding aside, he's doing a hell of a job. Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I mean, the bumbling, the stumbling, the lies, the chaos surrounding his administration is laughable. I mean, he was calling out for someone in the crowd that he knew had passed away the month before. It would be laughable, I said, but if it wasn't so serious. That Biden is living with cognitive decline is actually undeniable. I mean, we see the evidence of it almost every single day. And in that, he's not alone. Many families are dealing with very similar circumstances. And I have to tell you, it's no laughing matter for them or the people they care about. But those people are not leaders of the free world. They don't have access to a massive nuclear arsenal and a propensity to inflame tensions where they should be reduced. And that global tensions are rising is an undeniable fact, as is Biden's dementia, quite frankly. There are border wars and economic calamities that need to be dealt with, and America will have to be at the forefront of dealing with them. Ukraine, China, Taiwan, Iran, Russia. That's just some of the tensions. And it's a real question whether Biden is capable of making prudent decisions to deal with these matters. And of course, that has huge implications for us here in Australia. You see, we have always backed the United States in times of need. But this time, if the worst does happen, should it be different? And what about the Vice President? Well, she's proving to be not much better. Here she is celebrating the US alliance with North Korea earlier today.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
Whatever's going on in the White House is contagious. These two are just not up to the job. Now, here to discuss this, answer some questions about it, is Labor MP Michael Danby. Michael, it's great to have you on, Bernardi. Thank you for joining me. Do you think Joe Biden is up to the demands of office?
No one wants to be cruel to people who've got what he's obviously got, Cory. You're right about many families across Australia and the world experiencing this. But this is a real danger at the moment. I mean, the greeting of the congressman whose family he was meeting later that day, because she's been dead for 2 months, was even raised at the White House press conference by left-wing media like. Now, we've got a war in Ukraine where decisions are going to have to be made at short notice. One wonders about the capacity of the leader of the free world to make those decisions. And we've also got decisions which people can politically disagree with, but other people are paying the price. For instance, the crazy nuclear deal that Biden and co want to sign with the Iranians. There are lots of people in the Australian elite who support that too. But the women of Iran are begging for the Americans to speak out on their behalf. And of course, all they've got is stony silence from him and Kamala.
Yes, it's quite extraordinary. I mean, there are so many battlefronts, cultural, social, political, and economic going on around the world. But the stunned silence about these protests in Iran is quite extraordinary, because Iran is an existential threat to the world. They've openly said they want to destroy Israel. The regime, if it fell by the demands of citizen demonstrators, would be a very positive thing for the world, I would presume.
It would be, Cory. If you've met Persian people, it's an ancient culture. They're very, very smart. And there's all of this unused potential of a great nation of 80 million people that's completely unused by the world because it's suppressed by this Ayatollah regime. But back to Biden, I'm concerned that at some point, if the midterm elections go so badly against the Democrats, where they lose the Senate as well as the House, it looks like they're going to lose the House badly. The cabinet may have to make a decision on, as is foreshadowed by the US Constitution, on removal of the US president. The main political constraint against that is, of course, that the vice president is such a hopeless political actor. Interestingly enough, in the US Constitution, the third-placed actor is the leader of the US version of the Mean Girls, Nancy Pelosi. Now, she's a mean dude, but I'd rather have her running the United States for the 2 years if Biden has to resign than Kamala Harris.
Gee, what a terrible choice that they have. But, okay, that begs the question. If you don't have that much confidence in the decision-making of the US leadership, Australia will be drawn into whatever they decide, whether it be a military conflict, whether it be sanctions and various other things. That's going to really test our leadership here in this country and the alliance that we have, which is so important to us as well.
Well, I'm not aesthetically a big supporter of Foreign Minister Wong, since she was so unnecessarily cruel to my late friend Kimberley Pitching and accused her of not being able to make a judgment about energy security because of her childlessness. A disgusting remark that she should have, paid a bigger price for. But look, the good news is that the bureaucrats or whoever and Albo's determination to remain Prime Minister has meant that they've been basically sensible. And I have to have a slight disagreement with you, Cory. I think the victory of the Ukrainians in Kiev, then in Kharkov, and it now looks like they've got some thousands of Russian troops surrounded in Lyman, mean that the Chinese are taking a step back from this. And that's good for us. That's exactly what I hoped would be the result of our strong support for Ukraine. The Chinese and the Indians disassociated themselves from Russia at that sinister Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting in Samarkand. So it's given a bit of space for Australia to be a little less concerned. Be interested to see if Xi Jinping gets easily re-elected for the third 3-year term at the Communist Party Congress in November. But old Joe Biden isn't making much of an impact in any of this. He was, as Donald Trump wryly observed, sitting in the 14th row of the Queen's funeral, and he hasn't been to Kiev to, like all of the other Allied leaders.
Michael, I've got to actually move on, but I've got to say you're not the only person to disagree with one of my views over my political or media career, but we're absolutely united in saying
you're a great bloke,
in China
Cory, and we're
and
all
America
Democrats.
coming forward.